You are a rational, successful adult. So why do you still get a physical pit in your stomach the second you tap a banking notification or see a restaurant bill slide across the table? Before you ever earned $1 or made a single financial decision, you were sitting in a classroom you didn't choose. You were watching how the adults in your life handled the tension of money. Psychologists call these deeply ingrained patterns money scripts. They are unconscious beliefs, usually formed before age 7, that quietly dictate the financial decisions you make today. Nobody sat you down and explicitly taught you that wealth is stressful or that talking about debt is rude. You absorbed it. You picked it up by overhearing hushed arguments or just by feeling the specific vibration in a room when the mail arrived. These visceral reactions, the panic, the guilt, the sudden urge to spend, often stem from that early internal logic. It's a belief system that can operate entirely independently of your current bank balance. To finally break these cycles of financial stress, we have to pull those invisible beliefs into the light. We need to diagnose which of the 4 primary money scripts is quietly running in your background right now. The first pattern is money avoidance. This is the internalized idea that wealth is inherently corrupting, that rich people are greedy, and that wanting more makes you a bad person. If you grew up with this script, adulthood often looks like consistently underpricing your own work. You might feel a vague, nagging guilt anytime you manage to save, or when you know you should ask for a raise but physically cannot bring yourself to do it. On the exact opposite end is money worship. This is the deeply held conviction that earning just a little bit more will perfectly solve your stress, fix your conflicts, and finally validate your self-worth. This diagram illustrates why that relief never arrives. As your income grows and approaches what you thought was the finish line, the belief itself keeps moving the target, trapping you in a cycle of permanent dissatisfaction. This constantly moving goalpost drives chronic overspending on lifestyle upgrades. The spending isn't actually about the item you're buying. It is a failing search for an emotional feeling of safety that money alone is completely incapable of providing. Where avoidance pushes wealth away to maintain an illusion of moral purity, worship chases it endlessly, looking for an emotional salvation it can never deliver. Then we have money status. This script directly equates your net worth with your personal value, constantly scanning the environment to see how your life measures up to the neighbor's driveway. This creates a dangerous paradox. For someone running a status script, looking financially successful to the outside world becomes significantly more important than actually building financial security. You can see how that plays out here. The visible container fills up with outward displays of wealth, while the invisible progress, things like debt payoff and investments, stays completely empty. Savings don't show, and status requires being seen. The final script is money vigilance. This sounds like always be prepared for the worst, driving a life of intense frugality and the firm conviction that you can never have enough saved. While saving sounds healthy, extreme vigilance carries a steep hidden cost. It breeds a chronic, joyless anxiety. You become completely unable to enjoy your money, even when your bank account confirms you are entirely safe. Status scripts sacrifice your future stability for present appearances. Vigilance scripts sacrifice your present happiness for a future that will never feel secure enough to actually enjoy. Recognizing yourself in one of these categories isn't a character flaw. These patterns are highly effective, completely understandable survival adaptations to whatever financial environment you grew up in. The goal here isn't to label yourself and move on. The goal is to start noticing the exact moment your adult choices are being hijacked by a 10-year-old's understanding of the world. You can interrupt the cycle with a single practice: the pause. The next time you feel a sudden surge of financial urgency or guilt, stop and ask, is this about the money in front of me right now, or is this an old script talking? That single question creates the tiny wedge of distance needed to actually choose your next move, instead of blindly reacting to an old program. These emotional scripts explain why most budgets fail. We often try to use willpower to force a spreadsheet over a problem that is actually rooted in early childhood conditioning. Take a second and drop a comment below. Which of these 4 scripts sounds the most like the house you grew up in? And make sure to subscribe, because we are dedicating the rest of this series to dismantling each of these specific patterns. Once you can clearly read the lines of the script you were handed, you finally have the power to rewrite the ending.